Well, I thought I'd show you this fish. We violated the rules of video fishing. That is, don't make a cast until you have your camera gear all set up and you're recording. We didn't have the cameras up, and I caught this thing on that nice little tube fly zonker bunny pattern. And I thought you'd give you a nice little close up on that and let you see the fish here, at least on a beauty shot and a release shot. We're having a kind of a unique warm spell late December. Looks like it's going to go in early January warm spell. So we're out here in the creeks taking advantage of this. So the next few weeks I hope to get some time in on these creeks. Follow us along today. We're going to hit a few spots and see if we can't find some fish that are willing to play with us. I got a friend of mine out here, Eric. I think he's up around the corner there. He's dead drifting. I'm swinging. I'm trying to get to the pools before he does, and then he can do cleanup behind me. We're looking for a mix of brown trout, leftover lake run brown trout from November, and some rainbows slash steelhead. A little bit of mixed bag in here. Snow's all melted. The water's kind of high and puffy. Conditions are looking good. We ought to be able to find a couple of fish here and there. So, folks, let's see what we can find. Gonna rig up a tube fly using here, kind of a white zonker. A lot of our brown trout in here really like to eat these white stuff. Basically what they're doing is they're feeding on creek chubs, and these white zonkers do a really good job at imitating them. I've become a big fan of tube flies over shank flies. I've had a lot of funny hookups on shank flies, where the tube flies, I don't get the misses, I don't get the funny hookups. They eat the fly, I've got them. So that's one of the reasons why I've been, at this moment in time with my flies, I've been gravitating more towards the tubes. Got a little chewed up end of this tippet here, we'll nip that off. The nice thing about the tubes is you can tie a whole mess of them, stick them in a plastic bag, shove them in your coat pocket and go. That's a real bit of convenience. And then what I do with hooks, in this case I picked up an egg sac vial that somebody dropped, and I can carry a variety of different size hooks in here, styles that I want to use. So it's a quick custom setup for whatever piece of water or whatever fish I'm chasing. Get this thing tied in. There we go. Ouch, sharp. Don't use your teeth, it ain't good for it. Dentists will yell at you. And on the back of these things, I don't know if you can see it this range, there's a plastic junction tube. I'll move into the camera here. And we'll get the camera to focus where I want to focus here. Hang on to it. There we go. There's a plastic junction tube right here, and it holds the hook nice and stable. And I think that's why we're having a much better success rate in our hookups. So it's a real simple, in this case I got a size 4 stinger hook right here, which is working just perfect. It's just right out to the tail of the fly here, because in this cold weather we quite often get tail nips. So that'll solve that problem. But a very simple tube fly. Now let's go put it to work. Here we're fishing creeks, so the water is going to be shallow, the casts are going to be short, things are going to be kind of tight. But it doesn't matter for fishing creeks or for fishing big rivers. Our presentation this time of year, especially on the swing, is going to be the same. We got to keep it near the bottom, and we have to slow that swing down, just low, slow, as I always say. The slower you swing, the better off you are. You almost want to just kind of dead drift that swing. You never really can when you're doing a swing presentation get an actual pure dead drift, but that slow, sloppy dead drift style swing near the bottom is what you're gonna need. This water, even if it's like today, it's in the mid 30s. We got snow melt in the creeks. The water temperature is almost liquid ice. So these fish are going to be processing really slow. So you got to let them have a chance to look at it, think about it, that trigger that predatory response and have them move on to fly. So like I said, once again, it doesn't matter if you're in creeks, it doesn't matter if you're in a big river. You need to get that fly down close to the fish as you can and just let that swing hang. Slow swing. Kind of like I said, low and slow. Just can't be slow enough. Now let's talk a little bit about the equipment I'm using. Obviously we're using a tube fly, and since we're fishing in the creeks, the water's generally shallow, it's small water, the pockets are real small, so I stay with a traditional old school setup. I don't use a sink tip in here. I got about a 10-foot leader on, and because of the nature of this water, I control my depth with a couple of split shot. It's not the in thing to do with bay fishermen, but in these creeks, it's the most efficient way and the most effective way, because you take 3 steps, things change. Your pockets ain't much bigger than the size of a bathtub, so it's just a lot more effective to just go ahead and just use a regular floating setup and a leader, and then of course obviously your normal favorite flies. Now on this rod right here I'm using is a 10.5 foot 6 weight with a nice little Skagit or spay grip on it with a Skagit line setup. Because I'm fishing short water here, small spots, it's a short rod. The driver head on this is actually a trying to remember correctly, it's a short OPS head. I think it's only about 15 feet. And then I found a floating tip that works really good with this. Kind of the whole setup's about 350 grains. Running line is mono. You're gonna find an ongoing theme with me during the winter. I like using mono running lines for ice control. However, in this case, I got a classic Able click drag reel on here, and I did that to also have for line capacity issues. The mono doesn't take up as much room. One of the things to remember with mono is the business ends connected to your tip gets worn. Mono's cheap, cut back 5-10 feet, put a new loop and keep going. And there's usually 100 foot of this stuff, so you got more than enough running line to deal with. It's a little slick, takes a little bit to get used to, but very often, you know, with this head, with the driver head, the floating tip on here, leader, everything's usually within the range of just the head and leader, so I don't have to do a lot of shooting in here. However, when I do get in some bigger water and I want to run this rod, that mono running line allows me to shoot out, and I can easily with this setup fish 40 to 50 feet without any trouble. But it's actually perfect for these creeks. The 6 weight, it's got a good stiff butt in it. It'll handle the fish, handle some pretty big fish, and it's fun in these creeks. I'm getting all tangled up in my line here. That's pretty much a rundown on the equipment. I heard all sorts of splashing and looked up and I saw something with something out of poppet. Hope that's not the only hungry fish in here. A little heads up on what we're doing real quick with the equipment. We're going through these pockets. My friend Eric is dead drifting some flies under an indicator. Egg patterns today, and he's kind of following up behind the swinging, so we're doing 2 presentations. Very often they won't take a swinging fly, but yet we come through and we'll pick them up on a dead drift, and sometimes it just doesn't matter, they'll eat either way. The rod he's using is a 10.5 foot very stiff 6 weight. We got a Nautilus reel on it. It's a 6 weight, it's going to need all the help, so a nice good smooth drag is going to work with these things. And we're fishing 3x 2x tippet, a real standard dead drift rig, you know, 10-foot leader, and just work the pockets. Sometimes it's what we have to do during these winter fish with cold water temperatures. They'll just are not going to do a swing or chase a swing and fly, so this is why we follow up with a with dead drifting. So when there's two of us, we'll split the duties. One's swinging, one's dead drifting. We'll just see what happens. Well folks, I think we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it interesting, entertaining, maybe a little bit informative. We're still trying to find our way here, so please give us some comments on the video. Tell us what you think. Please tell us what you'd like to see. Even though it's warm right now, Mother Nature's going to sock in on us pretty quick, so we're going to probably end up doing a lot of fly tying, or at least showing some fly tying. So comment below what you'd like to see with fly tying. Comment below if you'd like to see that tube fly that I was using tied, and a little bit closer look at it. I'll be happy to put that up. So once again, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell icon to be notified when we put a video up. We're going to try to be pretty consistent here for a while on our videos, so we'll have a variety of stuff coming up. Once again, thanks for watching folks.